Hey, architecture firm owners and emerging leaders. Get ready for unparalleled insight into the development of a world-class architecture firm and a worldwide organization driving the digital transformation of the design and construction industry. With Build Smart, the podcast that's changing how our profession operates. We share the incredible stories behind innovation in the building industry with my friend and co-host, Patrick McKeel, FAIA, former CEO of the international architecture firm, HOK.
You know, Yamasaki's office or firm lasted during his lifetime. And when he passed away, I think that was the end of the Yamasaki office. Helmut did not want that. He wanted a firm that would live out and grow beyond the founders.
In Season 1, discover the untold stories behind HOK's meteoric rise, from 150 employees in St. Louis to a powerhouse with over 1,900 staff members and 27 offices worldwide.
You know, they weren't as polite as the Kojima people. That was just boom. And anytime you have a creditor, whether it's Kojima or the bank, that wants their money, unless you can raise money someplace else, you are out of business.
Bankrupt. And hold on tight for Season 2, where Patrick takes us on a new adventure as chairman of Building Smart International, shaping the future of digital transformation in the design, construction, and operation of built assets.
Ian Howell, Ken Harold, and I, Ken was my technical representative from HOK. The three of us took a tour of Europe of 5 cities in 5 days. Very busy time.
Simply follow the link in the show notes to subscribe to Build Smart now and uncover lessons that will transform you and your architecture firm. Hey, architecture firm owners and emerging leaders. Get ready for unparalleled insight into the development of a world-class architecture firm and a worldwide organization driving the digital transformation of the design and construction industry. With Build Smart, the podcast that's changing how our profession operates. We share the incredible stories behind innovation in the building industry with my friend and co-host, Patrick McKeel, FAIA, former CEO of the international architecture firm, HOK.
You know, Yamasaki's office or firm lasted during his lifetime. And when he passed away, I think that was the end of the Yamasaki office. Helmut did not want that. He wanted a firm that would live out and grow beyond the founders.
In Season 1, discover the untold stories behind HOK's meteoric rise, from 150 employees in St. Louis to a powerhouse with over 1,900 staff members and 27 offices worldwide.
You know, they weren't as polite as the Kojima people. That was just boom. And anytime you have a creditor, whether it's Kojima or the bank, that wants their money, unless you can raise money someplace else, you are out of business.
Bankrupt. And hold on tight for Season 2, where Patrick takes us on a new adventure as chairman of Building Smart International, shaping the future of digital transformation in the design, construction, and operation of built assets.
Ian Howell, Ken Harold, and I, Ken was my technical representative from HOK. The three of us took a tour of Europe of 5 cities in 5 days. Very busy time.
Simply follow the link in the show notes to subscribe to Build Smart now and uncover lessons that will transform you and your architecture firm. This week, we launched a new EntreArchitect Academy digital course. It's called Construction Management for Small Firm Architects. My small firm earned an additional $58,000 the first year we started offering construction management to our clients. To learn more about this new digital course, visit EntreArchitect.com/CM course. EntreArchitect.com/CM course. EntreArchitect Podcast, episode 119. Welcome back to the EntreArchitect Podcast. My name is Mark R. LePage, and this is the podcast dedicated to a successful life as a small firm architect. Whether you have plans to someday start your own firm, whether you're in the process of launching a startup, or you might be an experienced small firm architect just trying to make a difference, this podcast is for you. My goal is to inspire you to build a better business so that you may pursue your purpose with passion and live the life of your dreams. When we talk about firm culture, usually our thoughts lead us to this idea of a busy studio full of staff working with dozens of clients, right? Back and forth, doing all the things that architects do. Don't we need a firm full of people before we can have a firm culture? But what if we work alone? What if we're a sole proprietor? What if we're a sole practitioner? Do you, as a sole practitioner, have a culture? And if so, how important is that culture to your ultimate success as an architect? Well, as you may have guessed, I have a few ideas on that subject. This week on the EntreArchitect Podcast, I'll share my thoughts on the sole practitioner architecture firm culture. This episode of EntreArchitect Podcast is sponsored by FreshBooks, the easiest way to send invoices, manage expenses, and track your time. Learn more at freshbooks.com/architect. So all this month, we're talking about the topic of culture. We're going to hit it from every angle. And last week, we talked about your firm culture, episode 118. And we talked about, I asked you to think about your firm culture. At the end of episode 118, I gave you some homework. I asked you to be intentional and to think about your firm culture. Is it positive and healthy? Is it contributing to the success of your firm? Or is it just sort of there and it's doing what it's doing? Or is it a negative culture? Is it harming your success? Is it taking money out of your pocket? These are the things I want you to think about. I want you to consider these things because culture is one of those things that sort of just sits there and becomes what it becomes if it's not intentionally planned and thought about and executed upon. So I asked you to think about that. Did you do that? Did you schedule some time in your week this week? Maybe on Monday while you're working on your plans for the week, did you schedule a little bit of time to think about your culture? Did you develop the foundation of values that we talked about in the last episode? Are you being intentional? This week on the blog, EntreArchitect.com/blog, my friend Marica McKeel wrote a great guest post, and it's called Developing a Powerful Small Firm Culture from the Ground Up. And Marica, in this, I love this article. She's being intentional. And she shares in this article how she's using off-site retreats to plan her firm's success and to build a strong culture with her new team. She just recently hired a new team, 2 new people in her firm. She was a sole practitioner. She was working alone, and she took that big step to hire that first employee, and that first employee very quickly led to a second employee. And she's using off-site retreats where she's taking her team away, bringing them to a place away from the studio for a weekend, 2 days, and sits down and goes through a whole process. And she walked us right through that entire process in this article, and she shares exactly how she ran her offsite retreat. And she even, what's really cool is at the end of the article, she even includes some written feedback from her team, the 2 new employees who are not actually so new anymore, and shared their experience. They wrote their point of view of this retreat and how it's affected them as a business and how it's affected them as a culture and how they've bonded and how they've grown to want to support one another and to make this firm successful. And it's working. If you look at what Marica's doing and the content that she's providing on social media and on her blog and the architecture that she's creating with her team, it's impressive. So, I really hope that you get an opportunity to read that post. If you haven't yet, I just created a short link for it, EntreArchitect.com/offsite. That's OFFSITE, like offsite. That'll take you right to that article. And I think you should read it. I think it's a really great article. And I don't want you to miss it. So make sure you check that out. This week, since our episode 118 talking about firm culture, I got a bunch of questions. A bunch of feedback from that episode, and I get feedback every week. And this week, lots of questions about sole practitioners. That's the bulk of the comments coming back, both from the EntreArchitect community out in social media, on the EntreArchitect Facebook group. You can join that if you're an architect, entrearchitect.com/group, and join that. It's a great group. We talk about all different kinds of things. And in our private paid membership community, EntreArchitect Academy, that too, the question came back, what about if we're a sole practitioner? How does culture affect us? What if I practice alone and I don't have any staff? Do I still need to worry about firm culture? So my question, my quick answer to that question is yes. Yes, you need to think about that too. Even a firm culture of one is important. Even if you're working as a sole practitioner, there's still a firm culture. And just a quick recap of last week, I defined what firm culture is. A firm culture refers to the beliefs and behaviors that determine how our teams interact and how they handle transactions inside and outside the studio environment. That's the definition. A firm culture refers to the beliefs and behaviors that determine how your team interacts and how they handle transactions inside and outside the studio environment. That's the definition. Well, you, as a sole practitioner, if you're a sole practitioner, you have beliefs and behaviors, right? You interact with people and handle transactions inside and out of your studio, right? So you have a culture. You have a firm culture too. It's a firm culture of one. And there are specific elements and there are many, many elements that make up your culture, but I'm going to talk about several of them here. I think there's 7 of them. And I want you to think about each one of these. I want you to think about how these, and this works for big firms and medium-sized firms, but this is specific to sole practitioners. These are things that do affect the success of a sole practitioner, do affect the culture within the firm that you've created as one. These are important things. Let's start with the space that you work in, the physical studio space. That affects your culture. Is it a dedicated workspace? Or are you working like on your dining room table and your kids are coming in and out of the space? Or you've shared a space with a co-working space and there's somebody on either side of you that have nothing to do with your firm and constantly distract you? Or is it a dedicated space? Have you created do you rent a private studio, or do you have a space in your home that's yours? That is your firm studio that's dedicated to practicing architecture. Is it well defined? Is it designed in a way that it's efficient? Does it feel good when you go in? Is it well equipped? A well-equipped studio is important. It makes you feel something when you walk in. Are your computers updated? Are your devices, is your phone and your iPad and your other tablets, is that all up to date? Is your software up to date? Are your apps up to date? Are you using the things that make your job easier? It's all in your mind, right? Culture is in your head. Culture is the way that we work and interact. But all those behaviors that we talked about come from your head. The habits that we've created are part of our culture. And so the physical space in which you work affects the work that you do. It affects the way that you interact with other people. It affects your practice, and ultimately affects your bottom line. Because if you're not happy, or if you're not efficient, you're losing money, and that's all part of your culture. The second one is something I talk about all the time: work-life integration, also known as work-life balance. But I don't believe life is balanced, especially as a sole practitioner, especially as a small firm architect. Our lives are not balanced, ever. So it's a work-life integration, especially as a sole practitioner. My firm, 5Cat Studio, we've gone virtual. I have a staff that's outside of my studio at their own studios, and we work on the internet. So I have my own dedicated studio that I look out the window and I can see the trees and the birds and the animals go by, and I have a private entrance. So if clients want to come by or a contractor wants to pick up some drawings, I have that. They don't come through my house. That allows me to have this life of a work-life integration. I've intentionally, with my wife, who is my partner, also an architect, Anne Marie, We've intentionally designed our life to integrate our firm and our family. So we can do both. We both raise our family. We both do architecture and run the firm. We both have responsibilities and roles and have expected results. So we have different things that we need to do and different times when we work and different amounts of time that we work on each. But it's an integrated life. It's the firm and the family have become one integrated piece, and they're integrated, but they're still separate. So I have a separate space, and I have a dedicated time to do the work that I do. This allows me to run my firm and be successful as an architect and be a dad whenever I need to be. If my kids need to be picked up from track team or swim team or there's a play at school and or there's a teacher conference, I can do that because my life is flexible that way. I have this work-life integration. That's part of my firm culture. That's part of how my firm runs. It's part of the behaviors that we have established in my firm. The idea of having this virtual firm allows my staff too to have that work-life integration and do the things that they want to do when they want to do them. So I talked about dedicated times in this work-life integration. So the first one's physical studio space. The second one's work-life integration. The third one is your work hours. Do you actually have set work hours, or do you just work? You just wake up, do what you need to do, go to the studio and just work. And you just work until you get tired and then you go home and then you wake up again. Or do you have set hours? I have set hours. When I have my studio, it's at the basement level. It's a walkout, and and I have stairs that go up to my main level, up to my house. And so I call that my commute. When I moved from the big studio where we were for 11 years in the big studio, about 10 minutes from here in Pleasantville, New York, we had a big 2,000 square foot studio, and I used to get in the car every morning and I would drive 10, 15 minutes to Pleasantville. And that was my commute, right? And some of us drive a half hour or an hour drive to our offices. My commute now is every morning I commute down the stairs to my studio, and every afternoon I commute back up for lunch, and then every evening when I'm all done, when the kids come home, usually around 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, again, flexible hours, work-life integration. So I'm not working till 6, I'm working till 4. But from 8 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I break for lunch, but I am full on working, both on 5 Cat Studio and here at EntreArchitect. And so, but those are my work hours. And so when my work hours are over at 4 o'clock, I can get up and I could comfortably leave this studio and I could move on and go be dad. And so my work hours are part of the culture that we've created here at 5 Cat Studio as part of this situation. And as a virtual firm, it feels, because I work alone, Anne-Marie has her own studio on the other side of the house. I don't see her most of the day. She's doing her responsibilities elsewhere. My main project manager is in another town. So although we have a small firm, we're not sole practitioners, I'm alone most of the day. So these work hours are really important. And I understand as working alone, what a sole practitioner feels like. Although I have staff that I can move things to and have other people have other responsibilities and roles. But the work hours are flexible and they can do what they want when they want. But I have set work hours, which is very important. So I work from 8 o'clock till 4 o'clock. I am flexible within those hours to do what I need to do, but the hours are set, and that's very important. That's part of the culture that we've created. Let's take a quick break here to say thank you to FreshBooks for their support as a platform sponsor of EntreArchitect. Because as a platform sponsor, FreshBooks has provided funding and support for our overall mission here at EntreArchitect to be an influential force in the profession of architecture. They recognize the need for small firms to build better businesses in order to be better architects. FreshBooks is the easy-to-use accounting software designed to help us small firm owners get organized, save time, and get paid faster. It takes care of invoicing, expense tracking, estimating, reporting, everything you need, and it all happens out in the cloud, so you have access to your information from anywhere you have access to the internet. And as an exclusive offering just for the EntreArchitect community, I've asked FreshBooks to join me on video and show us around the product, FreshBooks. I know that once you see how easy it is to set up and how simple it is to use, you will convert to FreshBooks just like I did for 5Cat Studio. Tim Lee of FreshBooks and I produced a series of videos, and they're available for free at EntreArchitect.com/FreshBooksVideo. And when you're ready to give FreshBooks a try, go to FreshBooks.com/architect and sign up for a free 30-day trial. It's free. No questions asked. It's free. 30 days. Just go in there and set up one client, send one invoice, set up a credit card payment system, and have that invoice paid faster than you ever imagined it would get paid by credit card. It goes right into your bank account. I love it. So freshbooks.com/architect. Sign up for your free 30-day trial right now. Give it a shot, and be sure to let them know that we sent you. Put in EntreArchitect in the How Did You Hear About Us section. The fourth one is very, very important. And this is probably the bulk of culture. And I call it relationships. And so relationships, the way you interact with other people. So the definition again is, where's the definition? Let me read the definition again. A firm culture refers to the beliefs and behaviors that determine how your team interacts and how they handle transactions inside and outside your studio. So relationships, that's about people, right? And when you think about culture, that's what you think about. You think about people. And as a sole practitioner, you too have relationships with people. And those relationships and those behaviors and those interactions are part of your culture. So you have relationships with consultants, possibly. Maybe you have people working with you as a independent contractor. So they're not employees, but they're doing work for you. Much like employees, you have a relationship with them. You have a relationship with contractors. We all are dealing with contractors, unless you're working with a larger firm and you're not interacting with contractors. But as small firms, and especially as sole practitioners, we wear all the hats. So we have a relationship with contractors. And how does that relationship work? If it's intentional and it's planned and it's set up in a way that you encourage that relationship to be strong, that is part of your culture. Your relationship with your clients. Do you have, that's something that's very important. We learned very early on that for us, we can't be friends, quote unquote, with our clients. It's very important to be friendly, but we don't want to be friends. We want to do our job, because when you become friends, that sort of gets in the way of doing the work you do. And I know a lot of architects become friends with their clients, and we've become very good friends with many of our clients after the project is complete. But the culture, the protocol that we've established within our firm is that we are professionals, that we work for our clients, and those clients, although we are friendly, are not our friends. And that's just us. Everybody's got their own way. But that's part of the culture. That's my point, is that you want to think about these things. You have a relationship with your peers. This is another one. Even as a sole practitioner, you have a connection with peers. If you're listening to this podcast, most likely you're part of the EntreArchitect community, right? There are other professionals out there in the same situation as you that I've brought together through my platform, on the blog, on the podcast, in social media, at the Facebook group, in the academy. These peers, you have a relationship with these people, even online, even if you've never physically met them. Many of them have become your friends. Many of them have become your support groups. Many of them have been the people that you go to when you have a question. That's what we've done. That's intentional here at EntreArchitect, to create these groups, to create these communities, both inside and outside of the academy, to create a safe place, protected place to have these relationships. And of course, the last one relates back to work-life integration. You have a relationship with your family as part of your firm. If you're a sole practitioner and you have kids or a husband or a significant other, those relationships are part of the culture within your firm. How those relationships work affects the work that you do, right? So that's part of your culture as well. The fifth one is making money. And I love talking about making money. Money makes everything easier. Money is not bad. You've heard me say that before. Go back to some of the other podcasts, read the blog. Money is good. Money gives you the power and the resources to do more good things that you do. And so that's part of the culture. It's important that we're focused on profit, that we've created profit plans, and that we've created the systems that work, that run our firm financially. That's all part of the culture that we've created. It allows us to focus on the parts of the business that we love. It allows us to be better architects, right? This money part is the catalyst of launching EntreArchitect Academy, right? Our private membership group is to create a place where small firm architects can join and learn how to build better businesses and make more money, so we can all be more successful and do more architecture and have a happier life, right? Enrollment for EntreArchitect Academy is opening in May. So go to entrearchitect.com/academy and you can learn more information. You get on a list and we'll let you know all about that when the academy opens up. But making money is important as part of your culture. If you are struggling and you're not making the money that you need, if you're not being profitable, that affects all this other stuff. It affects your work hours. It affects your work-life integration. It affects the relationships with all of those people, your consultants, your contractors, your clients, your peers, especially your family. If you're not making enough money, it affects everything, right? It affects your studio space. If you're not making enough money, you can't have the studio that you want. So money is important. It needs to be part of your culture. It needs to be thought about, and it needs to be intentional. And how do you make money? Systems. You need to create systems, especially as a sole practitioner. You're only one person, right? You're only one person. You can only do one thing at a time, but you're wearing dozens and dozens of hats. If you did the exercise with relationships and responsibilities, roles, responsibilities, and results that we talked about last month, you know how many hats you're wearing. It's really important that you have systems that are effective, that save you time, that can be replicated, and they're efficient. Effective, time-saving, replicable, and efficient. Systems, that's how you make the money. Your systems are part of your culture. If you don't have systems, that's part of your culture, and it's probably taking away from the positive effects of your culture, right? It's probably contributing negatively if you don't have systems because it's driving you crazy. So systems are part of your culture. And the last one, the seventh one, is the success of your firm. And that relates to all these other ones, but the success of your firm is a huge contributor to a sole practitioner's firm culture. And I'm not talking about financial success here, although that's a big part of it. Do you feel successful? Because you don't need to make $1 million to be successful. Although I used to think that. I don't think that anymore. For me, success is contentment. I just want to be happy. I just want to live the life that I love to live. Right? I want to make enough money to run my firm, to keep my family fed and happy, and do the things I want to do. And that's it. I don't need anything more than that. Do you feel successful? Are you doing what you want to do, not what you need to do? Although lots of this stuff is all about things you need to do, but to do these things, to do the things you want to do, you have to do these other things. Right? So the success of your firm, even if your finances aren't what you really wish them to be, are you happy? Right? Are you happy doing what you're doing? Are you happy as a sole practitioner? And if you're not happy as a sole practitioner, you need to think about growth. You need to think about bringing on a team. You need to read Marica's blog post at entrearchitect.com/offsite. And read what she wrote about this offsite retreat. She struggled with trying to get the mind work done to hire that first person. But when she did, it was a game changer. It changed everything for her. So if you're not happy as a sole practitioner and you don't like the culture that you've created as a sole practitioner, you need to think about growth. You need to think about growth. And it's okay. Also, if you love being a sole practitioner and you love all these things, the flexibility and the relationships and the systems that you've created and the work hours and the work-life integration that sole practitioners have, there's so many benefits to being a sole practitioner. If you love it, then that's great. But if you don't be afraid to grow. Because I know so many sole practitioners who are just afraid to grow. They know they need to. They're just afraid. You may want to look at your sole practitioner culture as I call it my vibe, right? You might want to look at your culture as your vibe. When you walk into your workspace every morning, when you get to your workspace and you open that door, what is the feeling you're feeling? What's the vibe that goes through your body and through your mind? Is it a good feeling? Or do you feel your shoulders tense up and your head starts to hurt and you feel the weight come down upon your shoulders as you approach that door? That's your culture. That's your culture speaking. That's the vibe from your office, from your studio, speaking to you. Last week we talked about being intentional. And I know many of you sole practitioners rolled your eyes, or maybe even clicked delete, so you may have never even listened to it. It does apply. Firm culture is important. And I want you to reconsider. Do you have a culture in your studio? You do. You do have a culture in your studio as a sole practitioner. And without being intentional, you may not end up where you want to be. It's your turn now. It's your turn. Last week I asked you to think about your firm culture. And I bet you, as a sole practitioner, you didn't do that. And I bet you, many of you, when you first read the title of last week's episode, you just deleted it and you never listened. I want you to go back and listen. And I want you to think about the things I said today. And I want you to answer those questions. Is your firm culture as a sole practitioner, is it positive and healthy? Is it contributing to your success, or is it harming your success? And I want you to write down your values. Do that foundation of values exercise that I talked about last week. And I want you to consider all the elements of your sole practitioner architecture firm culture. Physical space, work-life integration, your work hours, the relationships you have with the people that you work with, money, systems, success. Do you feel successful? That's part of your culture. Your culture is contributing to that. And whatever it is that you're feeling, it is much the result of your sole practitioner architecture firm culture. So be intentional. Dream, plan, execute. That's the recipe. It's the recipe for success. Dream it, plan it, execute it. I'd love for you to go to EntreArchitect.com/iTunes and leave me a review. Subscribe to the show and leave me a review. Let me know what you think of the show. I would love that. Complete show notes and a direct link to download this episode will be found at EntreArchitect.com/episode 119. And I talked about the Facebook group before. You can join that. That's a private, free Facebook group. EntreArchitect.com/group will get you there. And don't forget, we have a new EntreArchitect Academy digital course, Construction Management for Small Firm Architects. Go to EntreArchitect.com/CM course to learn more. My name is Mark R. LePage, and I am an entrepreneur architect, and I encourage you to get out there, hang out with your friends, and share what you know. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next week.
Imagine earning continuing education credits while doing exactly what you're doing right now. Well, you can. Gable Media has revolutionized the way you earn your continuing education credits with a groundbreaking approach. Forget running around town and scouring the internet for credit-worthy courses. Fulfill your CE requirements effortlessly by listening to engaging podcasts just like the one you're listening to now. Our podcasts are designed to educate, entertain, and inspire, all in a user-friendly environment. But wait, there's more. Architects, Gable Media is also approved as an AIA continuing education services provider. Upon completion, we handle everything, from reporting your hours directly to the AIA to storing your certificates in your personal Gable Media profile for your self-reporting needs. So follow the link in the show notes and start earning your credits in the most innovative and entertaining way possible with Gable Media.
Attention architects and creative minds, get ready to supercharge your brand with Build Your Brand, the podcast that's unlocking the secrets of branding success for creatives. Hey there, it's Mark LePage, founder of EntreArchitect, and I'm inviting you to join my friend, architect marketing expert Jeff Eccles at Build Your Brand podcast, where he explores the captivating stories of the world's top brands and transforms their lessons into powerful moves for small firm architects and creatives like you. In Season 1, Jeff shares the thrilling tale of Southwest Airlines, where he dissects their journey to the summit and distills it into strategies tailor-made for you.
It's important to keep in mind that companies like Southwest compete in the real world, just like you, and face real-world challenges, just like you. You might be surprised at how similar those challenges are to the struggles that you grapple with on a day-to-day basis.
Don't miss out on your blueprint for success. Subscribe, tune in, and let's build your brand together.
You may have noticed that the very best brands in the world are also known for having somewhat unique corporate cultures. That's often the glue that holds everything together when they encounter those rough spots.
We don't do it because it inconveniences the passengers to whom we are primarily dedicated, the short haul, frequent flyer.
Follow the link in the show notes to subscribe to Build Your Brand today. Remember, no matter the size, the journey's the same. Your brand's journey to the top starts here.